Motoring 2012 on TSN is brought to you by Michelin, a better way forward.
Here is a new benchmark in its class, ladies and gentlemen, the Mini Coupe.
A lot of excitement was generated when BMW introduced the new Mini at the Detroit Auto Show in 2001. I mean, let's face it, lots of eyebrows were raised when BMW first purchased this English icon. Heck, Britain and Germany have never been best buddies, and many believed the Mini was dead. However, the Mini is still built in Britain, and now we have a convertible, the Clubman, and the Countryman. And this week we find ourselves in the America South, just outside Nashville, Tennessee. And it's here that BMW is launching its newest member to the Mini family. And yes, the Minis have been getting larger, but no, this will not be a sport utility. In fact, this new car is a pure two-seater, and they're calling it the Mini Coupe.
The thing that really speaks to me on this car is the testosterone in the DNA, like an M3, like a Porsche, that it really has that I'm a badass dude, get out of my way. And I really think they needed that because they were going a little too soft and happy in their designs, you know, especially with the Countryman. The Countryman's like, hi, I'm this happy little car in, you know, German car land. Why don't you get inside and we'll go for a ride?
As I mentioned earlier, BMW has chosen the area around Nashville, Tennessee to launch this new Mini Coupe. Now, the man who designed this coupe is Vincent Kung. But do you know what his middle name is? Well, they tell me it's Tennessee, but I think they're putting me on.
No, seriously, this is my real legal middle name. My father came to this country, was so in love with this state that he had to name something after the state, so he chose my middle name as Tennessee. We wanted something that was very sporty looking and sporty performing, so we had to start from the bottom up. We integrated a lot of suspension and chassis components from our convertible model. So our engineers went to work by lowering the lower center of gravity. They lowered the windshield angle by 13 degrees, put a dedicated roof design on the car, and 2 spoilers in back. One on the roof to catch the air, which directs it down the back window and onto the second spoiler, which automatically raises at 50 miles an hour and lowers at 37.
You know, one of the main features on this newly designed Mini has to be the roof. And I don't know about you, but to me, it looks an awful lot like a helmet.
Actually, that's what we call it internally. It's our helmet head roof design. We first introduced it on the 2011 Countryman, but now in the Coupe, you can really see it comes into its own.
I love it. I've owned 7 Minis, and it'll be my 8th. I think the design is what Mini needed. I think they needed something a little bit more radical, something that's going to grab your attention. If somebody sees that car going down the road, they're not going to mistake it for an S2000 or a Miata. They're going to know it's a Mini.
I was kind of worried about the design at first. The pictures just don't do it justice. You know, seeing it in person, it's just a beautiful car. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Weight balance has been shifted slightly towards the back, and what this does is improve our handling dynamics, and being able to tune the suspension for it, we're able to make it one of the best handling Minis ever. And it's also one of the top performing. Our 0 to 60 time, for instance, is 6.1 seconds on the John Cooper Works Coupe, and top speed is 149 miles per hour. This means the new John Cooper Works Coupe is Mini's fastest and quickest accelerating Mini we've ever produced.
Yes, it's just a 2-seater, but the new Mini Coupe at least has a place to put your stuff. Now, I do have a pet peeve. It's in the interior. It deals with visibility. In the front and the sides, no problem. But the B-pillar, let's say you're trying to back out onto a road or a highway and you're trying to see through those B-pillars. Well, this is what you see. Not much.
Performance is excellent. The bad news about the car to me is, unless you buy the Works, you're going to be disappointed. I drove the Works yesterday and the S today, and the S is okay, but after you drive the Works, just save the money because it's night and day, in my opinion, different in handling, suspension, and acceleration, and it looks just fantastic. It's really worth the upgraded price.
I have a lot of younger friends that see this car, and they just never really got into the Minis because they're like, oh, it's just not for me. And now they see this car, the two-door sports car, and it really gets them excited. So I really hope that Mini can get a lot of new, younger owners, and because once you buy a Mini, you're loyal. You'll always own a Mini.
This hair is gray, but it's not blue. Hey Brad, you got any of that Grecian formula left? More later on Kenzie's Corner.
There are very few cars sold in Canada that are not sold in the US. On this edition of Test Drive, the latest vehicle to join that very short list. This is the Chevrolet Orlando. The list of cars that are unique to Canada has held some good ones like the Acura EL and Toyota Echo, as well as some real dogs. One only has to look back at the bad old days when the Ladas and Skodas of this world were using Canada as a launch point to the United States. The Orlando, which is another product from GM Daewoo and is heavily based on the Chevrolet Cruze, rides a fine line. It is large enough to accommodate 7 riders realistically, yet small enough to be a city-friendly conveyance. This Orlando really is an either-or proposition. With all of the seats up, you can carry 7 people. However, there's virtually no luggage space left. However, if cargo's the order of the day, very simple. Simply drop all of the seats down flat. You end up with a nice flat floor, 1,594 litres of cargo space that's all nicely squared off. So what you see is what you get. The Orlando is powered by GM's 2.4-litre Ecotec engine. The use of direct injection and variable valve timing sees it twist out 174 horsepower and 171 pound-feet of torque. In this application, the available oomph is up to the task of ferrying a couple of riders around with the desired punch. From a standstill, the Orlando runs to 100k in 10.4 seconds and accomplishes the more important passing move in 7 seconds flat. The only nit has to do with the noise the engine makes when it's pushed to the max. Thankfully, this is an infrequent occurrence. Where this engine shows a bit of a weakness is if you use the Orlando to capacity. Put 7 people in it and it gets a little sluggish. That's where the turbocharged torque of GM's 2-litre engine would really pay big dividends. The power is fired to the front wheels through a 6-speed automatic transmission that's typically GM, smooth and refined. There is a manual mode, but given the Orlando's station in life, it's not likely to see much use. In somewhat of an unusual move, the Orlando is also offered with a manual transmission. It begs the obvious question, why? This is not a speedster where stirring one's own gears amps up the fun. It's a utility vehicle that keys on its multi-passenger ability. The cabin of the Orlando is well conceived. However, there's one thing I don't like and 2 that I very much do. What I don't like are the plastics. It's not so much the quality, it's the fact that some are textured, some are not. There's piano black, titanium and chrome. There's no sort of symmetry to the layout. The other things that I do like, however, there's one button that locks out the rear windows and it engages the child-proof rear door locks. Now, somebody was obviously thinking. Now, on the subject of thinking, this part is very clever indeed. Behind the radio faceplate, lo and behold, there's a USB, perfect for an iPod. The beauty of the design, it's hidden. The Orlando's ride and handling characteristics are surprisingly good. Unlike so many 7-passenger rides, the suspension has a planted feel that limits body roll as well as it does cushion the ride. Likewise, the steering delivers great feedback and it's nicely weighted across a broad speed range. Likewise, the brakes are up to the task of hauling the Orlando from speed without fading into oblivion, and this holds true when there's a full complement of riders aboard. Finally, a multi-passenger vehicle that does not bore the driver to death. Cast your mind back to the mid-90s and the Honda Odyssey failed because of its size. Fast forward to today and times and tastes are changing. So much so, this Orlando is likely to succeed because of its size. It's got plenty of utility, room for 7, a ton of cargo space, and yet it's easy when it's time to fill up at the pump.
Hi, my name's Darren Stone, and this is my 2007 Chevy HHR. It's the paint that started it all, hence the name Pyro Panel. True fire fashion, love the paint ever since I seen it the first time, had to have it. You can tell even with the sun today with the pearl paint, this is really what makes the car stand out. And just as nice on top of the hood is what's nice under the hood. We dress the engine all with 304 stainless, supplied by good friends of ours down in Pennsylvania at racingstreet.com. As you can see, it's 2.4 liter, 180 horse, all show no go special, but lots of work the car show, but it seems to be well worth it. Well, we picked this HHR panel up. It's the LT model back in 2008. And we just, wife and I looked at it when we got to the lot. We just had to have it. So we took her home and got on the internet looking at, some of the aftermarket parts that are available for it. We've done a lot of work on the inside already. We've aluminum checker plate interior, just a little bit added chrome. I'm always, chrome is man's best friend, and the more you got, the better. As far as the stereo goes, this was the factory toolbox. We took the doors off the top. The panel versions don't come with a back seat. This is the way you get them. So just decided to save space and making a fully functional floor. We decided to put the sub enclosures down inside and just hit all the amps, put everything up underneath. So we got a good 5.5 feet there for cargo. No problem sliding anything in or out. And aside from everybody calling us a PT Cruiser, not knowing what it is or the type of thing, you don't see too many panels around. We decided to do this on the back window. It's all custom steel, hand rolled, hand formed. And I don't think anybody would be calling me PT Cruiser anymore. Following along with the flame theme, we've swapped the shifter out for the flame shifter, 5-inch touchscreen TV, backup camera, and this is my favorite little toy. This is the Honest Officer. It's really not a NOS bottle. It's actually only a speaker, but I really like it. It's still a work in progress. I'm kind of really proud of it, the way it's come along so far. There's still a lot more to come yet. Other than that, this is my car. Hope you like it. Thanks, Motor and TV.
I got two beefs, rubberneckers and ride programs. I'm Howard Elmer, and I'll tell you why at motoringtv.com.
From what I found, about maybe 4 feet tighter than the Fiat and probably about 2 feet tighter than the Smart Car.
If I have a criticism of the car, Scion claims it to be a real 4-seater car. Well, I don't care where you put those seats, there's no way I fit in the back.
If I'm driving a vehicle like the new Mini Coupe, I'm going with the manual transmission, but I could be alone because here in the United States, only 5 to 6% of all vehicles sold come equipped with a standard transmission. Well, Mini would like to change that, and they're encouraging through this new campaign people to learn how to drive a manual transmission. They're calling it America, Get Your Shift Together. And they've come up with nuggets like, hey, we'll give you 3 pedals for the price of 2. All right, here's Bill with the tip of the week.
This week's motoring tip concerns that often asked question, how long should I warm up my engine on a sub-zero start? Now, a modern fuel-injected engine with electronic engine controls will run perfectly, stumble-free, stall-free right off the bat. So warm-up period can be shortened or limited to almost nothing. However, there may be some other factors involved in terms of driving your vehicle away safely. For example, you may need a little bit of defroster heat to properly clear the glass, and you may need a bit of time to scrub off some snow and ice off the outside of the vehicle. And that's usually all the warm-up time your engine needs. A minute or 2 is more than enough. Now, if the weather's really rough, you may have to wait several minutes for that defroster heat so you can see safely to drive away. But remember, the worst thing you can possibly do is use a remote starter because you'll overdo your warm-up period. You'll think it's going to be a minute or 2, it'll be 10 or 15 minutes. The best way to warm up a vehicle below -20 is to use a block heater. But keep in mind, anytime that engine's running and the vehicle's not moving, that's 0 miles per gallon, and you don't want that. That's your motoring tip of the week.
Mini has the Coupe,
Fiat has the 500. But if you want to know which iconic brand features the latest and possibly greatest small car in the market, allow me to introduce to you the 2012 VW Beetle.
Do not be fooled. This latest Beetle is nothing like its predecessor that was put to pasture last year. Being longer and wider creates more headroom in the back and more boot space. It has a longer front end, pushback pillars and more of an upright windshield, and is based on the new Jetta platform. What I particularly liked was, although it is very new age, some original details have remained. It is currently offered with a 2.5 litre 5-cylinder engine with 170 horses and the option of a 6-speed manumatic or 5-speed manual transmission. Oh, and did I mention that it has an unbelievably smooth suspension setup?
When the second generation Beetle came out in 1998, everybody flocked to buy it. But that demographic slowly shifted towards female buyers, maybe because it came with a useless vase and a silly little flower. So what VW have done with the latest model is they've actually tried to make it more masculine. But have they actually achieved that?
Yes, a little bit. I can't distinguish exactly why, but it's just overall looks like a better car.
It's a great car. I noticed it when I was walking by. It's very sporty. It looks great this year. I love the color red. I love the sunroof idea. It's a lot different from, it beats the flower in the middle look of it, and it's really updated.
I think they're appealing to both men and women, and you're right, it's a lot sleeker and a lot cooler, and I think it looks fabulous. I think it looks really sleek and looks incredible.
I could see my girlfriend driving that before myself, so I don't know if it would be more for me, but it's not too bad.
Oh, this thing looks like new age. It's beautiful. I had one in the 60s, and I remember paying about $2,000 for it, brand new. But this is awesome. I love this one, yeah.
There are currently 4 available trims, starting at just under $22,000. This model, as tested, retails for around $28,000 with a Premium Plus package which includes a panoramic sunroof, sat-nav and 400-watt booming Fender audio system.
So overall, the synopsis is that VW have nailed it with this latest Beetle. It's a winner, and that's vitally important with such an iconic model. But I do have 2 pet peeves. One, the cup holders. There are 2 of them, but the second one you can't really access when this armrest is down. It just gets a little bit annoying. The second, tunnel vision in my rear view mirror. Why? Because there are 2 big headrests in the back there, and if they weren't there, I'd get a lot more visibility. But these are 2 minor points for what is an amazing car, and I had to keep reminding myself I was driving a Beetle.
Interestingly, VW will be offering a TDI engine and a GTI 200 horsepower turbocharged version under a Sportline trim. But honestly, this current engine already packs a big enough punch. It is definitely all about less flour and more power.
So many new vehicles, so little time to choose. But we here on Motoring will make the time to select the best in class as our Car of the Year special is quickly approaching. The Detroit Auto Show, the granddaddy of all shows, will be the backdrop as we pick our top vehicles in each model category, and then we'll present the overall winner as Motoring's Car of the Year for 2012. Don't miss it.
Closed captioning of Motoring 2012 is brought to you by
Greener, fuel efficient, global. This is Chevrolet Now, driving our world forward.
Emails, yeah, we get lots of emails. We get text messages, we get comments on the website, and there's a new technology where you use a liquid made of naturally occurring substances, and with a sharp object, you write symbols on a medium made of crushed wood pulp. 100% natural. It's fantastic. It's called writing, but I don't think it'll catch on. Now, most of the feedback we get is positive. People like the things that we say and the comments that we make. But the last couple of months, I've got a few emails from people that disagree with me about a bunch of things, and I don't mind people arguing the points that I make, but a couple of them have called me a conservative, a Tory. My father would turn in his grave if he knew what to turn it in for. I mean, I used to be a long-haired, hippie, radical academic. I'm not a Tory. I'm in favor of liberalism and freedom and all those good things that make the society what it is. And another thing, you see that ring? That means I'm an engineer, and engineers base their opinion on facts, not pie-in-the-sky theories or some kind of Neanderthal philosophy that they think is the way things are. We look at facts. It's why I don't think electric cars will work, because the facts say they won't work. It's why I'm opposed to photo radar, because the facts show that speed is pretty much irrelevant. It's why I say that cars aren't part of the pollution problem, because the facts say that they aren't. Now, if you want to argue with me, sure, write me, email me, text me, say what you think about, why you disagree with what I say, and I'll do my best to try and convince you. But please, don't get personal, and please, yes, I admit to the old part, please don't call me a conservative. I'm Jim Kenzie.
So we've had our first look at the new Mini Coupe, and I believe that BMW has hit a home run with this vehicle. Yes, the design will polarize opinion. I mean, even I'm still warming up to the rear end, but heck, this is what the company had to do. It had to push the envelope when it comes to design. As one auto journalist commented to me, this is what the new Beetle should have looked like. I like the interior, but as I said, I'm not thrilled with the rear visibility, but it's a comfortable car to drive, and it drives just like it looks, with attitude. Incidentally, that same auto journalist is 6'5", and he told me he was blown away by the fact that he had plenty of room in the new coupe. So it appears the Mini brand is alive and well, and being well looked after by this German car company. Up next, another new member to the Mini family when they launch the Roadster. That's it for now. We'll see you next time out as we continue to bring you more stories about cars and the people who drive them.
The line in real estate is location, location, location. In the car business, it's product, product, product. They're abandoning conventional products and then moving to a non-conventional product, which what it's going to do for them as a company, I have no idea.
Motoring 2012 on TSN has been brought to you by Michelin, a better way forward.